Welcome everybody, MultiTap Gaming here again for another episode of MultiTap Gaming Podcast, episode 13 this time. Bringing in the consistency. We're going to get straight into it. The usual suspects are here. We've got Ams top right. We've got Andan top right, sorry. We've got Ams top left. We've got CJ bottom right. So getting straight into it, what we're gonna be doing every week now. What games have we each been playing? I'm gonna go first. I actually just recently got my Nintendo Switch back, like literally an hour ago. So I'm gonna be playing some games on there. I'm gonna be playing Super Smash Brothers, probably trying out some online. I haven't played that for a while now during this whole quarantine. I might pick up a game called Astral Trains just because it's something that I've been interested in on there. But what I've actually been playing is Final Fantasy VII, trying to get that platinum. So much fun. Having just as much fun trying to platinum it as I was actually playing the game for the first time. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. But CJ, what have you been playing?
Well, I'm just there strolling along in Ghost. I'm just working on Act 2 now, but I've just liberated the whole of the first section, and I'm quite happy in the way I'm doing it. I might sound crazy, but I'm just strolling around. I'm not fast traveling anywhere. I'm just following the birds and following the foxes as and when they pop up. And yeah, I want to just try and maximize everything I can get out of this game until a new game comes out. I don't really want to go back and revisit any of the older games I was playing just yet. So I'm quite happy to just stroll along and enjoy the world of Ghost of Tsushima. that's what I'm doing.
I've been playing a lot of different games. I've played a little bit of God of War and NBA 2K here and there. And I played a few games once they released. So Fall Guys on Tuesday. I played a bit of COD Season 5 Warzone on Wednesday. And then yesterday I played some Avengers beta, which is pretty fun.
We're going to get into that later on. We're going to get into that. And lastly, but not least, Andan, what have you been playing?
So this week, I've been playing Knowledge is Power.
This guy loves this game.
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't even love this game.
No, you love it, bro.
A couple people will come around and they will be like, let's play Knowledge is Power, whatever. And I have to slap them in it. It's a normal thing in it. But been playing that and a bit of Fall Guys as well. So those are the two main games I've been playing this week, to be fair, yeah.
Okay, fair.
Yes, a bit soon, don't worry.
CJ, you may need to come a bit closer to your microphone.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
But
Baby, you can play, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna get straight into the first topic, which actually is related to AMS. And give us your thoughts on the Avengers beta that you've been playing basically so far, because you're the only one that would be willing to play that out of us. But yeah, go on.
You gotta pre-order them steel books, man. Have your collection looking nice. For me, I was pleasantly surprised. I played the first two missions, so maybe it's not a good representation of the full game because they are story missions, so they're presented better and there's voice acting properly and all of that. But what I played, the combat is a lot better than I was expecting. It's got a lot more weight to it than I was expecting. Like when you hit people, react. They might be stunned or they might fly up in the air. Like when you throw Thor's hammer, when they're getting pinned to the bus, it really feels like you've just thrown something heavy at their chest. When you play with Hulk and you're smashing everything, it feels like Hulk. I really like that about the game. Every character feels unique, which I think some of these looter games, they struggle to make characters feel unique. Like when I played Anthem, a lot of the what they call javelins, they felt very much the same other than speed. But these characters do feel like they have different uses in the game.
Yeah.
What I will say, I said in the group, this feels like what Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 should have been. I got that game on my Switch and it was fun, but this is what you got. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Marvel Avengers is what should have been. This game is amazing in terms of what it's developed from. It feels like they looked at that and said, let's create this game, and they've done it 10 times better than what was done with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Okay, so
is it great, or is because it's better, or is it great because it's great?
It's not a 10 out of 10. I can't say it's a 10 out of 10. It's probably, all said and done, it will probably be an 8 out of 10. I need to see how the bot feels playing with other people. Usually that makes the game more fun. I would struggle to understand if it made the game worse.
We're not going to play it with you, Amalek. Sorry. I'm joking.
Both of them. So if you guys didn't want to play, I'm good.
That's like you said, trying to draw a girl and then you say she was ugly anyway. Yeah, we get it. No,
I'm trying to draw a girl because then you got a boob to your home. It doesn't matter. You say yes or no.
No, but my only question is, okay, cool. It's all fine. It being a beta, you playing 2 missions. They've limited the amount of missions that you play.
So they've done that. I've got a lot more missions I can do.
Okay,
I just haven't done them.
My only question is the gameplay varied enough from what you've seen to say, yeah, okay, this is a game that I can see myself playing? Because when you think about it, this is a looter kind of game, so you're gonna put hours and hours. Do you think the gameplay is varied enough? Have the missions been varied enough that you can see yourself sinking that amount of hours?
So in terms of varying the missions, because it's a looter game, the story, it's a lot of fighting bad guys. They've added in quick time events, so the part with Black Widow on that bridge, a lot of that is quick time events, so you're on rails for quite a bit of it, so it's more press the button here and this will happen.
Cinematic,
yeah, so it's more cinematic. There were parts when in the second mission, I won't spoil it completely, but there's a part when you're Miss Marvel and you have to keep going to well, you don't have to keep, but you have to go from platform to platform, turning on different machines, and as you're going to them, there's fights in between, so you turn it on, there's a fight. To the next one, turn it on, there's a fight. So you're actually doing stuff other than just killing everyone who's around. There's even parts where you're walking around and they're giving you like, not lore of the world, but like little Easter eggs. So you're walking around the room, there's stuff to find, comic books, with other collectibles, you can find gear in different boxes. So there's stuff to do outside of beating people up, which I feel like will vary the game. I think the main thing would be I'm playing with my boys or playing with my girls and we're collecting stuff, we're building our characters together. We're going to see how strong a team we can get. If they add in PvP, then maybe that'll be even better when you're battling other people.
Another question though. I don't really expect you to know the answer to it, or you may do, but is there like the boss fight that you're talking about? If all 4 of us are playing, how does that work? We're not all gonna be fighting the same boss, are we? Like, it's gonna be a one-on-one fight, or is
the way they've set it out? I assume that at the moment, I'm assuming the single player missions just single player.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's fair enough. So you can't.
The only way I could see it working is out multiple. Is all the things you do in the single player happen at the same time, and you're all on different screens. That's the only other way I see it working. The enemies just keep coming. That's the only way to do it. Until all parts are finished, enemies keep coming. So I don't know if they will do that. I think there might be a single player you play by yourself, and then the other missions you do with your friends. That seems like the only way to do.
Like a GTA Online side mission, doing missions that way, doing heists and stuff like that. It'd be that.
Yeah, you have your parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I can see it working, but I don't know if that'll work properly if they're just constant enemies coming at you, because there were sections to each mission where like you'll be up a group of people, then Captain America will have a conversation with the rest of the team about what's going on, and then more people will come. That mission was mainly just what do you call it? it was set. It's like a tutorial. They're telling you what to do as you play.
So there is a beta. Yeah. What do you expect out of the full game? Like, where do you see the improvements to come from beta at the moment?
What would you be happy with?
If they can carry out the cinematic feel of the first 2 missions throughout the single player, then that would be great. I haven't played the side missions to know how, not the side missions, the online missions to know how cinematic they are. If they can add some cinematic elements to those, that would be nice. That might come later, like with GTA Online. The earlier missions are a lot more basic than the later heists and stuff like that. That would be good. Moving into negatives, I don't like that the gear doesn't present when you put it on. That's really annoying. What's the point of gear? The only way to customize your character is to buy different outfits. And
I had skin variations, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can put on different skins. But that's disappointing. I thought it would be more customization in terms of you might be wearing Captain America's Civil War armor, then his original Avengers trousers, then his Endgame helmet. That's what I expected. So it really is that it's very hard for you to have the same character as someone else. But
so what kind of gear can you actually equip?
It's all invisible. So each character will have, I think it's 4 or 5 parts of gear, and you put it on, but it's just invisible upgrades. So the gear will have a level and it will have an effect, but you don't see it. It's just linked to a part of their body, and that's it. Which is,
do you think it's because it's the beta that it's like that, or do you think it's going to be like that in the final game?
The dream would be that
you don't know,
and they change it. I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's final, because they would have to go in and have the art team design all of it, how it's all going to work together.
And on top of that,
take a long time.
why wouldn't they just implement it if it was going to be in the final game? So
And my last question is, so obviously I know it's a beta and the game comes out sometime next month, innit? Does the game feel like it's completed? Obviously I know it's a beta, so it's not necessarily the finished products, but does it feel like it's finished, or do you think there's still a lot more left to do?
So what I've played so far is, it felt like a demo rather than a beta. So they were showcasing missions. So like the second mission, you play as the Hulk and Kamala Khan, and you switch between them for different parts. It felt like proper missions in the game. It's not polished like I don't want to say polish. The presentation levels aren't at the same value as like it's exclusive or high-end like Gears 5. It's not going to look like that when you play it. It will be on the level of maybe a Days Gone, maybe a Mafia 3. It's not the greatest, but it's workable. It's very cinematic, and the small touches, like part of it you feel like you're on rail, but it works to make the game feel more cinematic. So like there's a part where you're running on a truck as the Hulk and he dodges by himself and a rocket goes past him, but that added to the experience rather than feeling like, I wanted to do that myself. So there are some pullbacks for this game, and like I said, putting on rails at time wasn't great, but it did add to it at some points. The gear thing I don't like. I never had a problem with the faces. A lot of people do, but that's because they've watched the films and that's all they know of these characters, and they don't like that. They don't look like the films, but I've been watching cartoons and reading comics of all these characters, so their faces always change to me. So it doesn't really make a difference. I don't have a problem with the way they look. The costumes, Forza 1 looks a bit they kind of under-designed it for me. It looks kind of stupid. I like Captain America's that they've made it more modern, and you can change it if you really want to go back to the skin tight stuff. And then obviously Iron Man is always Iron Man. You can't get Iron Man wrong unless you're really crap. And Hulk. But what I saw in terms of the outfits, even though I have a problem with the gear thing, even just being a beta, there were a lot of outfits that you could they gave you money to buy outfits that aren't going to carry over to the game, which just so you can customize during the beta, and there's a lot of outfits you can buy for each character. Even the minimum I saw for one character was 4, and that's in the beta. That's before they've added new outfits, and they've got an almost infinite library of comic books to look through to add outfits. So I'm positive for customization in terms of changing which Hulk you want to use later on. I just need to play the multiplayer.
I feel they're gonna have to pay for those skins, and that's the
Exactly. Yeah, you can't wait for the microtransactions. Jeez.
I don't think they'll make you pay. What I've seen so far is you do get. Well, they gave us the currency. I assume they'll give it to the same currency to us during the game. So what I feel what will happen is if you want to collect every outfit, you're gonna have to put some money into that game or play forever. But if you're like the average person who just sees their favorite outfit and buys it and will use that the whole time, you'll probably be able to work in the game for a not too long amount of time, buy that outfit, and you're happy.
Yeah.
If you want to customize every week, you might have to start putting money into it. It looks like.
Speaking of,
I
was about to say, speaking of added content, it's been confirmed that Spider-Man is pretty much a DLC character that's going to be coming exclusively, by the way, to PlayStation. Which, oh my gosh, let's see you worm your way out of this one, Ams. So, what are your thoughts on that?
It's clearly it's not great, is it, for people who don't own PlayStations? As someone who owns a PlayStation, it doesn't affect me. I always own a PlayStation, so it's not going to affect me. I can feel for the people who are not going to get it, because I've had it in the past during other games where this content's only coming to this one, or this content's only it's timed and it's here for a year, or even on like the most recent FIFA when you can only get the legends on the Xbox. I can imagine Ultimate Team players were angry on PS. So I think it's something that we've come to not accept. But it's something that we see in gaming all the time, and it's not fair. But these companies are putting money up to do this. I guess they have the money to be unfair. I don't know. It's not fair, but they're putting that money where.
Is it because Sony still have Spider-Man on their books? Is that why?
Pretty much. I'm gonna assume so, but it's weird because they don't actually have the rights to them to Spider-Man as a game. They have the rights to his movies, which is weird.
His movies,
So
what it seems like is because Marvel own the rights to the games. It's not even Disney. Marvel own the right. Well, Marvel owns Disney. But actually, Marvel can make their own decisions on this stuff, and I think they're trying to keep that close relationship with Sony because Sony own Spider-Man, and they still need Spider-Man in their films. So when they so I can imagine Sony went to them and said, listen, this character, he's got exclusives on our console, you think we can have him for this game? Talk to Square Enix, and that's the deal they worked out.
Do you think this is good for do you think this is good for consumers in general, or
this is just
because it continues the exclusivity thing. Like it's a tough line, isn't it? Because I have no problem with console exclusives. I think console exclusives are good. They give each console value. But then something like this that's smaller, I think it means less, but it's a bigger reaction. It's like, I'm going to buy this game and I don't get the full game, which makes sense.
Exactly.
Don't give me the game at all, or give me the full game. You can't give me and knowing that other people can get more out of it. That's deep. Stuff up there.
But to be fair, I'm assuming with Spider-Man, you're going to have to pay for Spider-Man anyway. So regardless, you're not technically getting the full game unless you put
I don't
extra
know, you
money
have to
into
pay
it.
for them. They said that
You're gonna have to pay for it.
I think they said new characters are free.
Okay.
So I think he might be free for the consoles, and it'll also be a good marketing for, you liked him in Avengers, you try him in Miles Morales or the PS4 remastered.
Yeah.
It's just a marketing to him.
I just see it being totally bad for us as consumers. It makes sense. Really and truly, all of us are getting a PS5, so it really doesn't affect us at the moment. But at the same time, it's just I personally don't want to see that happen, because there may come a time where there's something that I really want, and it's gonna be on something that I don't have access to, which is gonna be kind of hard.
The way I see it is we've gotten to the point where we've all conceded that we're not going to get all the content, because we've all said, oh, we're going to get thinking about getting both consoles, because it's stuff that we don't want to miss out on.
Yeah,
I think it's a harsh reality of gaming that some stuff is just going to be locked off, and the only way to stop yourself from missing out is to buy it all, or you miss out.
That's fair.
It's not. I'm not saying it's good. Don't misconstrue this of me saying it's good. I'm just saying the gaming industry seems to do things where they're like, oh, let's take this little inch. Oh, they've accepted that. Let's take another inch, and they're gonna keep doing that until we push back fully.
Yeah,
and never are we.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but there's been somebody that kind of has inside information that has said that PlayStation have basically been throwing money at companies, and they're looking to make exclusive deals like this forever. So that actually might come into fruition, where it's like, okay, nah, you can't keep doing this. So, but we'll have to see to what extent it is. Like, he didn't really say what the extent was that they've got all these exclusive deals. But speaking of Sony and PlayStation, let's get into their little state of play that they did this week. Really and truly, I used little because it should have been it was low radar, and it just wasn't that great. But there were parts of it that were newsworthy. I'm gonna stick with those the two that I feel were, and then we'll go into the little indie games later on. But there was Godfall gameplay, and there was also some Crash Bandicoot gameplay. So let's start with the Crash Bandicoot, because I feel like that's what we're more interested in. So who actually played the Insane Trilogy?
I didn't even play it, you know.
Really?
I'm still waiting to play it. I need to get it.
Did you play it?
Holding off.
Did you play it, CJ?
Actually, that's the one game I've got on this amulet, so if you want to play it, I can actually borrow it. Look at that.
Right. So what were your thoughts on that, and on the Insane Trilogy, and how excited are you for this one?
It's weird, because I've always had a love for Crash Bandicoot. So in my mind, it's like, I treat it like a Mario. Like, I'd always buy a Mario game. They don't really have to do too much in terms of improving it. I just like the way the game's laid out. I like the way you have to go through missions. There's only so much I feel they can do in terms of improving it. But I'm quite happy with what they've given me. And the trailer looks quite interesting. There's obviously new maps. Small little changes to, what is it called? The Goomba?
I can't remember.
What he's going to do with that. But yeah, man, I, again, it's just one of them games. I think I would spend the money on it. But it's not a release day buy for me. Like, I don't think, I'm going to be rushing to break the bank for it. But it is something I'd like to play. You know what I mean? So it was the same with the Trilogy ones. I've already played 1, 2, and 3 anyway. So revisiting that wasn't like the top of my list to do. But once I got it, I happily played that for hours. So I'll do the same with this one.
I'll go. Basically, I haven't played the Insane Trilogy, but when I saw this, when I saw that they released that they revealed the game in general, I was like, okay, that's probably gonna be like a £35 kind of game. That's fine. But then, like, after seeing this trailer and what they basically said, there's a lot of content here, I'm like, oh snap, I didn't expect there to be this much content. Like, it feels like they're almost matching.
Well, it's a brand new game, isn't
it? But I feel like there's a possibility that they're matching the Insane Trilogy with just this one game, like, in terms of how much content there is. So I was like, oh, okay, this is actually going to be like a $60 or £60 game or whatever it is. And I'll put it to you like this, I wasn't really looking to get into the game like CJ said, but CJ, I'm willing to go hard on you with this so far. I'm willing, but
there is no way that game is £60 though, man. No way, that's too expensive.
It must be. I promise you. And the thing is, they actually said that there's still more for them to reveal. So
to show.
Really?
Well, that's £60. It'll be
Well, the more they said to reveal was a new mask or something like that, innit?
Yeah.
the mask have new effects. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
I think it looks good, to be fair. I think it looks alright. To be honest, I'm not gonna buy it. I know that for a fact. Unless it goes down to like £20-25, I'm not gonna buy it. But it looked good. But I don't know, man. I think I've gone past the age of playing games like that, to be honest, innit? Like, yeah, that's just me, to be honest, innit? Like, I need a more.
You need graphics that are gonna take advantage of your LG C9.
because obviously, like, Crash Bandicoot is something that you probably played like when you were like 6-7 years old or whatever, and for me, I'd like to keep that for me in the past, innit? Like, I'm not really a nostalgic kind of person, kind of thing, innit? I'll think about it and that's it, but I don't really want to buy it again, kind of thing. So, but that's just me, innit? So yeah.
You the bits where they change their skins and stuff like that, and I was just like, if they do that and they start going down that avenue, it's gonna make me hate the game. Yeah, so I want to wait and see what they're doing with that, because
no, they
said there's no microtransactions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, that was the case for Nitro Kart or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. And then they went and added them afterwards anyway. So so let's hope that they don't do it. But yeah, Ams, what are your thoughts on the game and what you saw?
It looked good. I do plan on playing it with the original trilogy eventually. I'm not sure when. Maybe when this bundled together on the PS5 I'll get it, but I don't know at the moment. I won't get it on release day. I have been opening up to Ratchet and Clank though. I might get that on release day.
That's fair.
Oh, yeah?
That's fair. And the second game, Godfall gameplay that we saw, I will go first with this one. Okay, really and truly, I saw this game when they initially revealed it and they showed some gameplay. I was like, yeah, this is some generic stuff. This is launch console game. This is a launch console game. It's not something that I'm gonna be playing long term, or I'm gonna remember far into the generation. Don't get twisted, that still applies, but it looks better than what I thought it was going to. It's giving me actually some God of War vibes, but like with faster combat and less polish. Like, but yeah, that's pretty much how that felt to me. It felt very narrow. I don't know why. It felt like the paths that
you're quite closed in.
You're closed in.
But it might be what they showed.
It felt that's very true. It felt very tunnel vision, but that's the thing. It's very true what you said, because apparently it's meant to be like a up to 4 players or 3 players or something. So I doubt it's going to be I doubt it's going to be very narrow, and you have 3 players and that amount of enemies all together. So that's probably just that bit of gameplay. But yeah, the combat looks like it can be quite skill based. I think there's a what did they have? It's basically, as I said, it's like God of War. They have like a counter, a parry, they have a block, a shield. Everybody has a shield. You can mash square to do attacks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a game that I'm not.
The game's looking like a 7 or 8 out of 10 to me, man. I don't know, man. I looked at it. I had to keep on fast forwarding it after a while, because like it just didn't look interesting, man. But I don't know, man. It just looked trash to me. No, not trash. No. Trash is too far. But it just looked. It looked very basic, to be honest, man. It just looked like one of those things I've played before, kind of thing. I don't really see anything new. The only thing that really got me excited was that you could play with you could play with 2 other people. So it being multiplayer, it could add something new. Yeah, but that's really it, to be honest. Like, the game didn't really look. It looks meh to me, kind of thing.
Is it open world? Can I ask? Or is it just very structured campaign?
I'm gonna assume because it's a looter shooter. I mean, what is it? A slasher looter, whatever
Looter
they call
slasher, they said.
it. Yeah. I'm gonna assume that it's kind of like Borderlands, where there's a story to it, but then those story missions are just gonna be big and grand and But then there's I can't remember how Borderlands even works, but yeah, there's a mission structure to it. But when you get into those missions, it's just kill this amount of enemies and defend this area and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I see it being. But there is usually a story with Borderlands.
It was just a combat overview, innit?
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if it's just showing me like the main battles within the story or what's going to be happening outside of that part.
Yeah, I think
it looks very flat. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the mistake that they made was making the characters actually be like just generic faceless characters. Like in Borderlands, they have these characters that are like you can identify them. If they put a Borderlands character in Smash Brothers now, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I don't know their name, but they have that identity. Like there's nobody in this game, no character in this game that you can look at and think, yeah, I know who that character is. I know what their personality is probably like. It's like that's probably where they've gone wrong with that.
Maybe there'll be PS4 character DLC like God of War will go in it.
Maybe we'll see. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Sam? I'll go.
This is one of the games when I first saw it, I thought I might get for my PlayStation 5. When I saw it again, I just don't care. For me, it looked like they are doing something that they're trying to set a precedent with their game and create a genre. But it's been done by Avengers now. I feel like Avengers is doing the same thing, but 2 to 3 months earlier and with the appeal of having Marvel characters. So they're just killing them in the water there. So I don't know if it's going to be as big as it should be because they've got that competition now.
Yeah, and that has everyone given their thoughts on the game? Or? Yeah. That's
CJ.
Oh, CJ.
No, I did. I was just saying. Obviously, I was just looking at it through combat. So, I mean, the combat looks okay, but it just looks very generic. I didn't really see much else. I need to see more of the game overall to get an understanding of what it's like outside of just these fight scenes, because it was just for a combat Overwatch. To me, it's just like any fighting game I'm playing at the moment. I wouldn't put down Ghost and start playing this all of a sudden. I'd probably revisit Final Fantasy before I revisit this. And then I'm hoping to play Assassin's Creed at some point, so it doesn't feel like one that's going to interrupt my schedule planning.
Yeah, definitely.
What I was going to say is, it's funny, because like that was the top 2 games on there, I guess, but I was more interested in the VR games, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into. What games did you guys see outside of those 2 games that interested you? So CJ, what were yours? The VR games, and what out? There were a few. What VR games?
I saw Hitman and Vader. Now Hitman, there wasn't much to see because it was just kind of walking around and stuff. But I do like the appeal that you'll be the person in control of what you're gonna do next, and like your next moves are gonna implement what's going on. You're gonna feel like you're really there and you're really the hitman, and you get to decide how you're gonna take this man out and how you're gonna distract someone. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to explore in that game, and the fact that it will be you're in control of that. I think that game could be good. I don't know, they didn't really show you that much, but I feel like there's a lot of room for that game. Now Vader. So go on, you want to talk about that first?
I was just gonna say, basically the Hitman games are usually actually very good. So if they're basically just making the game where it plays the way that it usually does, and you're just controlling it through VR, that's probably going to be the best VR experience, I'm gonna assume. I don't know how everything's gonna work. Maybe I don't know how like the controllers work with VR. Like maybe you have to put stuff around people's necks. I don't know if there's like resistance or vibration. You guys can let me know. There's
Yeah. So
Because-
it makes sure you're
You can
moving.
definitely control the hands like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, that probably might be the best VR experience. So, and it's going to be all three of them as well, so you can revisit the ones that you've previously played and play through them in a different way.
Oh, that's good.
So,
Yeah, I didn't even realise that. And then games were good anyway, so that's
So yeah,
That's
go.
just,
And the other
and
VR game.
Vader game. I think that Vader game looks sick. Like,
Sick. Yeah.
I guess the whole idea of being able to, use the Jedi, one then, like, yeah, I just think that because I really enjoyed the last Star Wars games anyway. So what I could do with that, it just feels really exciting. Like, I don't know why, but like if you're fighting against like a normal shooting game and they're shooting at you, you're gonna want to dodge and stuff. But at least with this, you can kind of try and like deflect the laser shots, and I feel like they can do a lot with this game. And then if I can use the Force and just throw people there,
Throw people around.
just get out of here, get out of the room. So, yeah, I think that one was is screaming that it could be good to me. It's weird because I like VR, but I don't like what it does to my head. It gives me a banging headache. I know some people don't suffer like that, but I'm one of those people that just really suffer when I play the VR. So I'm hoping when PS5 comes and the new headsets and stuff they brought out can kind of stop that, dizziness and the headaches that I suffer from when I play it. But yeah, if it does, I think that's a bit of me. That's what was your guys' thoughts on the game?
Yeah, Ams. Well, were there any?
By the way, I thought it was cool. I pulled it to one.
I was the same. The VR games look most interesting to me. The Vader one, the Star Wars one looks amazing. I will definitely play that. The Hitman I'll probably try and play as well, but I have less interest in the Star Wars one. So all of that being said, they showed Bud Snacks, so this presentation was an L.
Bro, Bug Snacks is the speed.
Bugsnax.
Bug Snacks is the
why
speed. Bro,
that's
did you
a
see that
60
graphical
second
in it? That
4K
graphical
what?
fidelity, my
Hey.
guy.
That's a bigger L than Tetris.
Nah, man.
Xbox
It's
presentation
Bug
was
pushing
better.
PS5 to the limits.
I
man.
swear, bro. Already.
Yeah. It's gonna be the new Animal Crossing. Watch.
Exactly. Yeah. Watch.
The Last of Us 2. The Last of Us 2 ain't got shit on this game.
Show me. When I saw that, I thought, well, this presentation's done. Don't
man.
show me that.
Oh man. No, do you know what though? There were some indie games that I was like, ooh, this looks alright. There was
The chess one, yeah.
the chess one. I can't even remember which one you're talking about. That's how.
I thought it was like auto chess or something. Or
Oh
some next
my
thing.
gosh! Now I
And
remember
the
what
one
you're
that
talking about.
was Journey meets Breath of the Wild. That game looks stupid.
Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
that's trash.
It will get 11 out of 10 just because it looks like that and it's artistic.
I'm telling you. But there was one game. I think it was called Aeon Must Die, and it was kind of like stylistic, and it was like futuristic, cyberpunky kind of robot-y looking game. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. There was a lot of combat, and everything looked kind of hand drawn, but not really. It was weird. It was very black and reddish. Aeon Must Die. I believe that's what it was called. Yeah, but that was probably the only indie game that interested me. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't really show more Kana, but they said that they weren't going to be there. So, but yeah, that's something that I was really looking forward to. But yeah, and then what are yours? Were there any indie games that you were interested in?
Nah, not really, to be honest, man. From what I saw, I can't lie, man. I thought the state of play was a bit trash, to be honest, man.
Was it?
It's nice to see what people are working on and stuff like that, but apart from the big games, so the Controls, the Hitmans, and Crash, which I don't even really want to play too much, there wasn't really anything that really interested me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so
this is probably the first L of PlayStation so far. They really said that it's not like a PS5 based showcase, but at the same time,
second L. Because they showed Bugsnax before, so they've taken 2 L's.
and it's weird because they showed PS5 games. They showed Godfall at the end, and they showed what do you call it? They showed games, PS5 games. So it was like, I don't know. But yeah, that's an L to me. But moving on to the last and final subject of today, and I think it's probably the most important to me personally, because it's actually something that I'm really interested in: cloud gaming.
Yeah.
And Xbox have basically stuck it on Apple, come out and said, yeah, the reason you can't play xCloud in this next month, because it's actually releasing in September, is because Apple are treating games on their platform, on their app store, differently to any other app. And yeah, so that's the reason why xCloud and Stadia and these kind of platforms aren't actually on iOS right now. Apple actually came out and responded, saying how basically the reason why these platforms aren't on our iOS store is because we want to be able to review every single game that comes to the app store. And when you use platforms like Stadia and you use platforms like xCloud, you actually can't do that. And I call complete bull. I'm not gonna. Well, we always swear, but yeah, I call complete bull, because when you really think about it, Xbox have basically said exactly what they're doing. They're treating games differently to any other platform, because when you look at Netflix, xCloud is basically Netflix for games, and I don't see Apple reviewing every single show or film that comes onto Netflix, but Netflix is still there. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this, guys? Is that who's taking the L here?
So so will it be xCloud will be the app itself, and what they want to review is all the games within the app itself?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying. But they're pretty much saying that the reason why they're not allowing it there is because they can't do that, and they wouldn't need to do that. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up what they're basically saying. So yeah, that's answer to your question. And then what are your?
I think I heard something about them not allowing you to play on Apple devices at all in general, and I think that's just a war between them and kind of
Microsoft,
Microsoft. And I think as much as they want to, they're not going to allow it, because it's opening up. I feel like they might actually shoot themselves in the foot with that, because actually, if they allow it, more people would stay with Apple phones because they still have the ability to play, as they could Samsung. But I feel like they feel like Samsung and all the Androids and Microsoft are going to start to control the market if they allow them to do that, and I don't want that.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of politics here, but sticking on your point, do you think like Microsoft might even start saying, okay, do you know what, we're even going to start saying go to Android so you can play our games? That's how they're going to advertise it. Do you think they'll be willing to do that, even though Android isn't their platform? Do you think they'll still be willing to do that?
Yeah, I think they'll rather do that just to shut Apple out, to be honest, because the way I think, like, I've got a lot of Apple devices or whatever, but the way Apple acts, they want to be so exclusive. They want to shut you out from everything else. You have to get an Apple MacBook, you have to get an Apple this, blah blah blah. So Microsoft are just like, well, we're not really about that, so we'll rather have Androids and whatever, you can use their things and blah blah blah. And plus, on top of that, Android control most of the market anyway, even though we see iPhones all the time. I think Apple only accounts for maybe like 11% of the goods that are being sold. Wow. So it makes more sense for you to stick with Android. If PCs, isn't it? But it's probably PCs. Because if you deep how many Android phones there are, because with Apple iPhones, it's just iPhones you can get, but there's Samsung, there's OnePlus, there's this, there's that, blah. There's so many phones in it. Yeah, and you have to think on a worldwide scale. Maybe over here we see a lot of iPhones, but worldwide you might not see iPhones in certain countries like that anyway. So it's there for expensive.
They charge 4 times as much, so for every one Android, they've made them much
basically. So I agree with what Microsoft are doing, to be honest, man. Like I like a lot of Apple products, but the way Apple acts sometimes, man, they deserve it, to be honest. So yeah, it's up to them.
Do you see them sticking with it long term or
100%?
Yeah, I think Microsoft can afford to just have Android users to use their platform. And because I can't even lie, like even the other day, like I was even looking at getting a Samsung Galaxy tablet just because of xCloud kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like if it's not coming to iPad or whatever, like I'll happily buy a Galaxy tablet so that I can play the games on it. So yeah, I think it's a good thing because Microsoft needs to do something about the way Apple are trying to control the market or whatever. So yeah.
I think.
Yeah, go on.
Right, being
I think
yeah, just quickly. If you look at it in like the other way around, if Androids and are basically 89% of the market, then really are they not the ones being selfish with Apple and like not respecting what they're doing? They're basically saying we're coming to you and we want to control how we're coming to you as well. So we want to, like, even though we all feel like, you know, they shouldn't have to review every game, but what they're saying is, okay, you're coming to us, but you should come to us on our terms. But Microsoft saying, no, it's our way or the highway. So you deal with us the way we want to be dealt with.
If you own more of the market, you have the right to, innit? It's like us going to a channel that has 10 times the subscribers and saying, what can you do for us?
It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Microsoft have the power in this situation.
Microsoft are the bullies in this situation.
I wouldn't really call it bullying though, man, because it is what it is, isn't it? Like we are a much bigger company than you. You can try and agree. I don't know what terms they probably put out to Apple or whatever, but you can try and agree with these terms. If you can't come to an amicable understanding or whatever, then the way it is what it is, isn't it? We already have people that are willing to use it, and we don't mind using them, kind of thing in it. So yeah.
I understand what you're saying, CJ, but really and truly, the reason why they would do that has to come down to something. So, which one do you guys think it makes more sense? That is the reason why they would do it. So they obviously have their what do you call it? It's not a Game Pass, but it's like a Apple have their
the Apple Arcade.
Arcade. They have Apple Arcade itself, so they may look at xCloud and Stadia as competition and say no, we don't want to do that. It also could be that they just want to take, because there's a 30% kind of thing that they take on every single game and every single sale that is made through their app store. So do you think they're thinking, no, we want that a bit of that 30%? Or the third one is, do you think that Apple are thinking, no, we don't want you guys on because we're going to make our own one, and we're going to make our own streaming platform, and games are going to be coming to our iOS and stuff like that, and we're going to take all the profits off of that? So which one do you guys think makes the most sense?
Definitely not being able to monitor, right? Like be able to monitor how much the add-ons, the in-store add-ons that people are getting, because obviously in their mind is they're paying for one app for us, but there's hundreds of games and hundreds of different things they could potentially get on the xCloud that they're not being able to monetize. So I guess they're looking at it like, well, no, you're not going to do that. If you want to bring the game over here, bring each individual game and let the people spend that way, because I guess they don't really lose out ultimately, because the app's probably going to have to be free anyway. So like they're not adding any value to the business by allowing it. The only value they have is that what people might still continue to use their products. I can't see someone that uses an iPhone say, you know what, I'm going to get rid of my iPhone just so I can buy a tablet, or just so I can buy an Android so I can play games. Like, you'd still keep your phone and you'd get an additional tablet or Android or whatever it is you want to do to play those, like you said. And I mean, I tried to change to Samsung a few years back, but I used an iPad and an iPhone every single day. I couldn't do it. I couldn't function. It just didn't sit right with me, even though I know I could do so much more on my Android than I could on my iPhone. But it's just not the norm for me. So switching it's not really, I couldn't do it.
It's crazy because I'm actually angry at myself for sticking with iPhones for so long. I was
iPhone
like,
all this time. Yeah.
that I've got an Android phone. I'm like, what was I even thinking? Like, what was I thinking? But
I've had one Apple phone ever and I hated it. Never owned one ever again.
wow.
I think this whole problem is, it's just Apple, isn't it? I think it's probably a variation of all three that you said, but we can't pretend that Apple is the most consumer friendly company. They don't give a damn. They think their rule is a lot. They will release 40 grand PC and then say what? When you ask them why is it 40 grand, they'll say because Apple. They don't care what we think. It's just what's gonna make us money. If come to us, bring your gaming stuff, but we want more of a cut because we're Apple. And I don't think they give a damn. People will still buy their phones. People buy $800 wheels for their MacBook because it's Apple. So they've got an air of we're gods and we do what we want. If you don't like it, then go away.
But you can't have iTunes on an Android phone, can you?
No, you can get Apple Music, I think, on.
Yeah,
I think
you can.
Okay. Yeah.
You can get iTunes on Windows laptops and.
Yeah. On
I don't think you can iTunes on Android, but Apple Music, yeah.
So to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if low-key Apple are trying to do something similar, to be honest, because the way all these companies are copying each other right now, like what Instagram are trying to do. What was it I saw? They're trying to copy TikTok or something like that.
Yeah, they did.
And all of that kind of
update, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Trump banning TikTok.
Yeah, but every company's copying everyone in it, kind of thing in it. So they're seeing what's working. Oh, for people are paying you £10 a month to play games. All right, we can do the same thing as well. In it, we've got clout in the game and all of that kind of stuff. People will happily work with us and all of that. We'll give you favorable rates, and let's get it cracking, kind of thing in it. So all I know at the end of the day is Stadia's taking that out. That's it, innit? So that's all I know, innit? So
if you go to Apple for your gaming, you're a real fanboy. That is crazy because there's so many options before you get to Apple. If you skip all of these top end consoles, you skip the Switch, and you think, yeah, Apple, let's give them a chance. It makes sense. You're mad.
Yeah, basic graphics card, it makes sense.
You're actually mad.
It's we're gonna have to wait and see with that one. I think we'll probably find out by the end of the year, to be honest, how things are panning out with that, because xCloud is coming out next month, and people are gonna want to start playing on that. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, that's pretty much the show for the week. If you got to this stage, thank you for joining us. Make sure to subscribe, like the video if you did. If you didn't, let us know in the comments why. And we will see you on the next episode. Okay, take care.
Peace.